Hi, this is Kim, and today I'm making a family favorite from back in the day. Now, my mom has always been an amazing cook in our family. She's 88 years old now. I did a cookbook of her favorite recipes, but one of the challenges with that cookbook was I waited till she was like in her 80s. And some of the things she didn't really remember all the recipes because, as you start to cook, you stop using measuring spoons sometimes, and you stop using measuring cups, and your memory might not be as sharp as it was. But we put together a cookbook. I used Shutterfly to do that. It came out beautifully. We had pictures and everything. But spinach casserole was a family favorite for years. It's 2 boxes of frozen spinach. Now here I put the spinach in the bowl. Now this one I had both of the bowls I had defrosted. But you have to make sure that it doesn't get any liquid in the bowl because you don't want your spinach casserole soggy or whatever. And I do pour some of the water out. That's what I'm leaning over to the sink now, pouring some of the water out into the sink that since the spinach is defrosted. And I'm pouring the spinach in there. The recipe is pretty simple. It's 6 tablespoons of flour, 5 eggs, seasoned to taste, garlic, salt, and pepper, things like that. It takes 5 eggs. Now, I am breaking the eggs, and you'll see here I get a shell in the first egg I break. Now, normally, when I'm trying to video and cook, sometimes the logistics are a little challenging, but normally what I do is just either knock the egg on the side of the bowl or, a hard surface like the sink or something, and then break the egg that way. But anyway, I did get a little shell there, and I ended up taking that out because we don't want to crunch in our spinach casserole. Now, I also put on an apron a little later in the process if I could prevent myself from getting stuff all over me, because I tend to be kind of a messy cook. I don't worry about it too much. It just is part of the creative process. So basically, you're going to mix all those things together. I don't know what I have the original recipe that my mom gave me. She got it from a cookbook years ago from some friends from church. And we've used it for potlucks, family gatherings over the years. But I pretty much almost knew it from scratch. I almost forgot the flour, but I did remember before the end. I'm beating the eggs, and as I cook, I think about Indian fry bread. That's something I'm going to make for you guys as well. Something my mom made when we were kids, and we would make it like a tostado or something like that. You put meat, cheese, lettuce on it, and it was a flat bread. She's always made hot water cornbread. So I'm just recreating some of her recipes because I still like to eat them and she's not making them anymore. And so that's probably the only way I'm going to get it is if I make it myself. So I'm putting the eggs in the bowl. So here you see the spinach and the eggs. That's pretty much what it looks like. I used, I think, large eggs, but I don't know that it really matters if you use, and I use the whole egg. Now I'm cutting up the onion. Now, I have that Prepology little tool that I just love, and I did use that. Now I cut out some of the footage when I'm using that Prepology tool because I didn't have the top on really well, and it opened while I was, pulling it, and then the onion fell all over the counter. But you guys don't need to see that. But now I'm just cutting the onion. I'm going to put it in the tool. And then you just pull that handle until you get the onion to the size that you want. Now, if you want this onion, that's a cup. Now, I think the recipe asked for a cup of onion. I'll be quite honest with you. I just took that half onion and put it in there. I did not measure whether or not it was a cup. And, I just kind of cook to taste at this point. I always, when I wanted somebody to share a recipe with me, and I'm going to give you the actual recipe in the description of the video, I always would, get frustrated if people wouldn't give me the recipe. But I find now that I'm not really using measuring cups that much. I might do it to vision. If I don't have a measuring spoon in front of me, I'll use a teaspoon and kind of eyeball it sometimes. But it still comes out really good. So I'm cutting up this onion. I'm putting it in this Prepology tool, and it saves me from having to chop it with a knife. And I just love this little tool, to be quite honest. I hate the cleanup, though. That's the one thing I don't like about tools is you got to clean them. But this was just such a nifty tool for chopping things. And so I'm getting ready to chop it. I'm going to put the onion in there. And it doesn't take really a lot of stirring, just a little stirring to mix all the ingredients up. Now, for purposes of this video, you probably see me stir just maybe a little bit more than you need to, because really all you need to do is just mix all the ingredients together. So see, you got to put that top on there just right. And at one point the top comes off and some of the onion flies all over the counter. But that's the great thing about cooking. You can have a flub and you just get right back in it, and it doesn't affect the taste. It doesn't affect the nutrition of what you're cooking. But I cut that part of the video out because, I mean, who wants to show that to everybody necessarily? But I just want you to know that if everything doesn't go right, if, when you watch the cooking shows, everything is perfect. It's in little clear little bowls and this and that. But at home, you may have that set up. I don't. And, you know, it's okay how you cook. It's okay if everything doesn't go just perfect. It still will taste good. We're going to have it for dinner tonight. As a part of our dinner, we'll have mashed potatoes, spinach casserole. I'm going to do some corn on the cob, some cornbread, because, on Sundays I make dinner for the parents. Now, I'm adjusting the bowl, I haven't quite figured out a way so that you guys can see me in an optimal way. I have a tripod, but then I didn't have the clip to put the cell phone in the tripod. I couldn't find that. So I just had to lean it up against the knife stand or whatever I was doing to just kind of make it work. Because I wanted you to have this video. Everybody that's tasted this casserole has loved it that I'm aware of. Anytime I've taken it anywhere, it kind of reminds people of a quiche. We call it spinach casserole. And so I'm putting the salt. I'm trying to put more seasoning because I tend to, I think, too lightly season items. So for the flavor, I'm trying to make sure, Kim, when you think you have enough, just add a little bit more because things take quite a bit of seasoning. I put a little bit of garlic because a little bit of garlic goes a long way. They have the minced garlic, you can do the fresh garlic. I have garlic powder that I was using. But I've noticed that a little bit of garlic goes a long way. Unless you want your dish to taste like a big clove of garlic, don't put too much in there. Now, I'm adjusting the camera a little bit. I'm using cheddar cheese. I don't normally use the bag cheese, but at a weak moment a few weeks ago, I bought this big bag of cheese for some shredded cheese for something. Now, as you can see, that apron is giving me fits because I didn't tie it up well enough. It's sort of coming down. I'm like, oh, who cares? Let me get through this process. It also calls for a container of cottage cheese. I don't use the whole container of cottage cheese because I don't particularly like cottage cheese that well, although I do use it in my lasagna and we do use it in this recipe. So even though it calls for the whole container, I don't use the whole container. I just use part of the container. And then I use cheddar cheese. Now, again, like I said, I like to shred my own cheese, because they say it has all these chemicals in the shredded cheese to make it not plump up. But because I had that shredded cheese and because I was being lazy this particular day, I just put that cheddar cheese in there. If I'd had other cheeses thawed out, I do have some Kobe cheese, but it was frozen. I didn't feel like, didn't feel like thawing it out in the microwave and stuff like that. So I'm just using cheddar cheese. That's what the recipe calls for. But if you want to use American, if you have another favorite cheese, if you want to be kind of fancy and put I don't know how to say that, Gruyere or whatever you say that kind of cheese, but a different kind of cheese. There's all kind of cheeses you can put in there to taste. We always just use cheddar cheese, and so that's what I use. And then at the end, I'm going to put some more cheddar cheese on there, just because I like a lot of cheese. Now, I step away for a few minutes. I thought I pretty much had all the ingredients, but I am going to have to get I got a little bit of like Velveeta cheese. It's the store brand because I shop at Kroger quite a bit. Then I'm going to remember that, hey, you need to put the flour in there, the 6 tablespoons of flour. So I'll have to step away and get that as well. And here is me putting the flour in it's really a quick recipe. I mean, if you have everything set up, which today I try to have everything set up for you guys. But if you have everything set out and ready, I mean, you can put this together in 15 minutes, really, and plop it in the oven, 350. I did, I think, 365 today, but just between 350, 375 is fine. 6 tablespoons of flour. Then you just mix it up. I use Pam or the spray so that it'll make it easier to get it out of the bowl. And I use smaller containers. You'll see I use clear cooking ware, and you'll see it a little later. But I use two small ones because I put those in the freezer so we can take them out later during the week if we want for dinner. It's just my son and I at home, and we could have it for a meal because we don't need a big old casserole. If I was cooking for a bigger function or something at church or some sort of holiday event, I would probably double or triple the recipe. But for what the purpose is for my parents and just a little left over for us during the weeks, we could pull something out for a quick meal. I'm going to use two smaller casserole dishes with tops, and then I'm going to use a little larger one that I'm going to take to their house for dinner tonight. And that's one of the tips I've had lately is when you cook enough to make a little bit extra, and then that way during the week when you run it around and you're like, I'm tempted to stop by fast food, you have something that you can just pull out of the freezer, stick in the microwave, or pull out that morning before, and you have a meal. And then you're not so tempted to get fast food. Because I don't know about you guys, but fast food has gotten so expensive. I got a hamburger and fry from a local hamburger place here in Columbus last week. It was like $9. It wasn't even a double hamburger. It wasn't even anything real exciting. It was just a cheeseburger and a regular fries, French fries. It was $9. To me, that's outrageous. You could make probably 6 hamburgers for $9. Get a package of bun, get some hamburger meat, and so anyway, I'm putting the spinach casserole in the casserole dishes, and then I'm gonna put them in the oven, and I'm going back for a little bit more cheese, I think, and I'm gonna top that on there, and then I'm going to plop it in the oven, and in about 30 to 45 minutes, it'll be done, depending on how brown. You can make it less brown. I like mine, if you'll notice in the picture, a little brown on the edges and a little crispy. I've had it, people that have cooked it where they've kind of, to me, undercooked it. I like mine, even my macaroni and cheese and things like that. When I bake things, especially like this, I like them a little cooked, a little browned on the edges. And so that's how I cook this. This is another pan that a little casserole dish that I'm gonna put some of the spinach casserole in, cook it, and I'll put it in the freezer for us to pull out the next few weeks. I don't like keeping things in the freezer too long, but for a week or two, beans, if I have too many beans, I've got a crock pot of green beans over there going. For this meal, I believe I'm going to make asparagus because I have some asparagus, and my mom loves asparagus. And so even though I'm going to also cook corn on the cob, my dad likes cream corn, so I'm going to make him some cream corn. But I'll keep the corn on the cob for us here at home, except for my mom because she likes corn on the cob as well. So now I'm just topping it with cheddar cheese, more cheese, and then I will put it in the oven, and then I'm going to read a book while it's cooking. That's what it looks like before it goes in the oven. If I thought about it, I could probably put a little more seasoning on the top of it, but I think I seasoned it pretty well before, and that's what the final product looks like. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, take care.